we're going to review slope-intercept form and then learn a new form of point-slope form and see when that comes in handy. So the first thing, if we are given any of these four things, we can figure out our equation of the line. So if you're given the slope and the y-intercept, you know what form you're going to use? Slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. Now, what does that slope-intercept form look like? Well, you take your pencil and you're going to write y equals mx plus b. Okay, maybe I should type that. So from here, we just plug in what we know. Well, m is our slope, which is our 1/2. It says right there. So we have our y equals 1/2. And our y-intercept is -3. So we have our 1/2 x. And instead of plus a -3, it's better to write -3. Done. That is good to go. Next, if you're given a graph, again, my best suggestion, honestly, slope-intercept form again. Again, that would be, type it this time, y equals mx plus b. So we have these forms here. So we look on our graph, and we're going to look at a few things, like the y-intercept here. So our y-intercept here is -3. So we have a -3 in our b spot. Then we have our x. Then we look for our slope. So from this point to another lattice point, we figure out the rate at which we are moving. So our change in y over our change in x. So it looks like our next lattice point is here. So to get there, we can go up 1 and then towards our +2. Whoa. And it goes again and again. So you could use any of those points there. So if it goes up 1 over 2, our rise is 1 and our run is 2. Oh my gosh, we have y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Oh, wow. Interesting. Those are the same. Next one, if we are given the slope and a point, we can still get it into slope-intercept form, but we can't start there. So we're actually going to find our new form here, which is called point-slope form. For point-slope form, we're given a point and a slope, and we can find our point-slope form. So this formula is new. Now let's rewrite it. So we have our y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. If you're thinking to yourself, Miss Iceword, we had some ones and some in the subscript for our slope form. Yes, our slope formula says it's the same thing. If we divide both sides by x minus x1, it will give us this formula, and I will show you in class. Okay, so if we use this, the y1 and the x1 are the ordered pair points. So this is our first ordered pair. So this is our x1, and this is our y1. Now this is the weird part here. Notice there's minuses in the formula. So when we substitute those in, all right, we have our y minus, and then be careful. We're going to put our y1 in there. But in order to put that -1 in there, we have a minus a -1. What happens when we have a minus a -1? Well, we end up with a +1. See what I did there? You could write it as y minus a -1, but I've already simplified it for us, so it kind of helps out there. So that's why I kind of skipped to that second part there. But I'll write it both ways for you. Equals. Then we need our slope. Well, it told us our slope is 1/2. We have our 1/2 there, and then we open a set of parentheses. I have my 1/2 up here too. And then we have our x minus. That is key. X minus our x1. Our x1 is a positive 4, so we can put positive 4 in there, but notice what happens when we put the positive 4. Here we could put like a positive 4 in there, but minus a positive 4 is the same thing as just minus 4. So either way works there. All right, now some of you are like, okay, there it is. Well, technically we have it in that form, but if we get into slope-intercept form, all we have to do is solve for y. So to do that, we solve for y. We distribute our 1/2 into our parentheses, so we get 1/2 x. Ooh, half of negative 4 is a negative 2. And we bring everything else down. From here, to get our y by itself, we just subtract 1 from both sides. We are left with y equals a 1/2 x minus 3. Oh my gosh, that was the same as the first two. Yeah. Look, they gave us that 4, negative 1. If we look at 4, negative 1, that's this point. They just gave us this point in the slope. We can still figure it out, even if we don't have the y-intercept. All right, final option. Now this one's going to take the most work, so if you haven't been able to fit in the box, definitely write small for the final one. If you are given 2 points, the easiest way to do this is to, again, start with point-slope form. Which point-slope form? This would be a good time to practice writing it. So with point-slope form, we have y minus y1 is equal to m times the quantity of x minus x1. All right, here we go. We are given 2 points. Well, we do need one of them, but we need the slope. Guess where we're going to start? Finding the slope. So in order to find slope, we're going to use our formula m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's substitute that in first. If you are struggling with this last time, it always helps to label. So let's see, if this is our x and this is our y, and this is our x and this is our y. Our first point, well, is our first point. So there's x1 and y1. And then our second point is our second point. So from there, we can just plug in our numbers and go with that. So let's see, our y2 is a negative 2 minus our y1 is minus a negative 4. Okay. And then we have our x2 is 2 and x1 is a minus a negative 2. Watch out for those double negatives. From here we can simplify and we can do 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 and minus 2 gives us 2. Ooh, we can simplify that. Our slope is surprisingly 1/2. Sounds familiar. So we can always use our point or our formula for slope if we are just given 2 points. Okay, so we know that, and if we are to substitute that back in, we know we have our 1/2 for our slope. We'll have some parentheses over here with our x minus. And over here we have our y minus. Okay, we need to pick a point. You could pick the first point, you could pick the second point. You'll get to the same answer either way. I'm going to choose the second one. Why? Because it's smaller numbers. You are welcome to choose the first one. That is completely up to you. If you choose the first one, we'll get to the same answer. If your math is correct, watch out for your signs. All right, so if I have my y over there, that's a minus a negative 2, so watch out. That would be a minus a negative 2, which makes it negative. Negative makes it a positive. And over here, we have 2 for our x, so we just have minus 2. All right, we have it in point-slope form. Now we're going to simplify and solve for y. So in order to do that, we need to distribute our 1/2 into our parentheses. So we have our 1/2 x. 1/2 of negative 2 gives us a negative 1. And we have y plus 2. All right, y is still not alone. We got to subtract 2 from both sides, which leaves us with y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Sounds so familiar. It's like we've done this 3 other times. But that's how we can go from one form to the other. So we can solve for y. Go backwards. Good to go. This is actually a foldable, so if you're going to get excited and start to fold it right now, it folds like little doors. And then over here, this side says slope intercept form on the front, and then this side says point slope form on the front. I'll show you in class.